So why do women, so many women don't like being on camera, which you make it really fun. So I'm going to just say that you make
Yay,
it really
good.
fun. So I don't feel like that's the experience I had at all, but so many women don't like being on camera. What gets in the way, and what are a few powerful shifts that someone can make to really help them feel at home in front of the lens?
Yeah, great question. Oh, I have so many tips. This is probably my YouTube channel. So I would say key number one,
Mm-hmm.
remember to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's the thing that gets most people hung up the fastest is getting
Mm-hmm.
stuck in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just like reminding yourself to like take a deep breath, close your eyes, just like remember that you are a human in a human form and you have to like do stuff with your hands. So sometimes it can be that simple where it's just like reminding yourself that it's not that big a deal, really. Whatever the purpose of the pictures, it's really like you get to do another one because it's digital. And if you let go and trust yourself, it always works out better.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. What does it really mean to be seen? Not just online or on camera, but in the truest sense of being witnessed, embodied, and remembered. Candace Smith is the founder of The Essence Photographer, and her work sits at the intersection of visibility, leadership, and legacy. She's built a multi-six-figure creative enterprise around helping women rise into their next evolution, capturing them not in curated poses, but in their essence. Through her Beyond the Brand method and embodied legacy work, Candace brings visibility back to soul. In today's conversation, we explore identity, confidence, and the power shift that happens when we stop performing for the algorithm and start reclaiming our space as leaders. This episode will remind you what visibility can actually be. And speaking of being seen, if you've been hearing the call to be witnessed, to raise your voice and your visibility, Extraordinary Women Ignite is just around the corner. We're just a few weeks away. It's the fire where women like you come to remember their brilliance, reconnect with their vision, and rise into their next level of leadership. Use the code EWR for $200 off your ticket at CamiGellner.com/ignite. I hope to see you there. Now let's meet Candace Smith. Well, welcome to Extraordinary Women Radio, Candace. I am so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
And what a great day to do it on, because we had a blast this morning. We got to we did 3 hours together almost.
It's true. Yeah.
I was doing some video shoots with Ron Ben Joseph, and Candace was in the background getting some behind the scenes shots with video. And then we flipped the switch, and then Candace did almost an hour and a half of photo shoot. So that was so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love to do. And it's always fun having a client on repeat. So I think that's hopefully one of the things that we'll talk about today is the practice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's so important, is that we have a continual stream of new photos that come into our world. And, as you know, this year, it's been a big year for me because I've been doing the, going to silver thing. So I was like, none of my photos are right anymore. So,
yeah. Sometimes you got to change things.
Yeah, you do got to change things, and you flow with it. So, but it was a fun photo shoot, and I can't wait to see the pictures because I know how talented you are. We did an earlier shoot this year where we did it at the Red Rocks Amphitheater, and got some amazing shots there. So now Candace is very, very talented. But let's start with your story, because I think you do photography in a different way than a lot of people do. And what led you to pick up a camera, not just to take pictures, but really to capture the essence of a woman? I mean, what was that shift for you?
Yeah, it's been an evolving process for sure. So I learned the art of photography through being in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. So before I picked up a camera, I was a model and I traveled around the world, being art.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's my back story.
Yeah.
I lived in front of the camera. So I learned from masters around the world, how to see the light, how to experience what a good photograph is, so that I know intimately well. So like all the ways that you're uncomfortable, I practiced it for a decade. So I know what it's like to be in front of the camera and to like allow yourself to let go, and the process that's involved in getting yourself to that place where you are comfortable within yourself to be seen. So I think that's how my story is so different, is because there's an intimacy with the camera on all angles. So,
Yeah.
and when I did decide that photography was going to be my career, I actually started with family portraits.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that, I think that perspective and that relationship that I built with um, both with myself and my inner child, and like crawling around and like allowing just the freedom and the life of children unfolding is kind
Mm-hmm.
of what I focus on with women now as well. It's like helping you to recognize all of yourself, even the
Yeah.
parts that are like in the shadow, in the dark, and that we don't always give enough attention to. So,
I love
because
that.
specifically with kids, like they're going to have meltdowns. They're going to,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can't get them to just
absolutely.
like sit there and be cute. It doesn't, the photos aren't as good as if you allow for the whole self to be available. So,
Oh,
and
that's
that's
awesome.
really like my joy and my passion working with specifically women entrepreneurs, is like to help them remember all of their capacity and how to actually show up with all of who they are.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that. Being seen as the leader you already are.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so hard for women to really be seen fully, right, of all of who
Yeah.
they are, and not just pieces,
Yeah.
even when they've been really successful?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to answer that question. I think often what I've seen the most is that like we all just get stuck in our heads. So especially as a leader, like as you develop your career and who you are as the persona, we
Mm-hmm.
can often get defined in that role and not actually allow for the full expression of who we are. And I think that's a lot of why I do the work that I do. Is it's not just like sitting and posing for the camera. Like I can't
Right.
just have you smile and be yourself. There's a depth and an intimacy and a way that like my goal is to help clients to allow for more of who they are and like a deeper expression.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like the performance and how you want to be seen. It's more about like allowing people to actually feel you. And I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest difference is, when you drop your guard, people will trust you better.
Oh yeah, because they can feel you versus
Right.
this mask that's
Yeah,
been up.
exactly. Yeah.
And I know because I went through your process of,
Yeah.
the depth that you go through with your clients to get them to really go inside and to explore
Yeah.
is really powerful. And I remember, I think I probably spent like an hour working on that,
Yeah.
the survey and the questionnaire. And what came out of it was really brilliant for me because, as I was really sitting there feeling into, like, who am I and who am I becoming? And I've heard you say that as well.
Yeah.
Um, and what's the energy of who I am, that essence of who I am, which is interesting because I've used the essence of who you are. I mean, I wrote about that in my book, and in Fire Dancer, and I
Yeah.
I start when people are working on brand in my mastermind, I always start with the essence of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got from that homework you gave me was like some really insightful things, and that's where my rooted flame came from, was
Yeah.
doing that
I love
homework.
that. Yeah.
And when it landed for me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been
That
trying
is
to
who you
talk
are.
about when I talk about the embodiment of people, right?
Yeah.
That rooted flame of who we are, that's really been that's where that came from. So it was really an insightful experience for me to go through that, and then to be able to apply that into my photography. And then I'm taking that rooted flame. That's the theme for Ignite this year.
I love it.
So yeah, I know, right? So it's really fun. It's really amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So your brand is going to be evolving.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so true, right? We all are always evolving. You and I were chatting about my brand and how it's evolving in 2026. And
Mm-hmm.
you've got some really exciting things coming up into beyond the brand. That's
Yes. Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about what's shifted in you and how this is and what this is that's being birthed right now.
Yeah. So beyond the brand, I came up with the idea. It probably like really came around in like 2018, but it didn't really like form until the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things shifted in my business for like a lot. But like
You moved from
when
California, right? And you'd had a
I did,
studio and all
yeah,
the, you know.
I had two businesses that were really successful and things were going great. And, I built a community and I was basically getting paid to throw parties and also doing my photography. And then, the world shut down. And so I didn't really know what to do with myself. So I sat and I figured out how I actually do my process. So there's a course that I built that I haven't launched yet that might come out eventually. But basically, the Beyond the
Or
Brand
will come out
it'll
eventually.
come out. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. Yeah. So I created a course because I was just sitting around with nothing to do, and you can only make so many self portraits. So I figured out like the actual intuitive process of what I take clients through, and Beyond the Brand method is essentially it's just how I see people and how I can help them simplify showing up for the camera, which also means just showing up for yourself. Because how I see the relationship with like how you create for your brand, it's also just how you show up in your business. So the course breaks down it's the four key parts. So in order to make any good photograph, you have to have the who you're being, the character, the why, the message, like what it is that you're actually saying with the photograph, the location, the where, and the how. I'll say how, but it's like how you're adorning yourself. So what you wear. So those are like the four main things. So the course is going to go through all of those things, and then Beyond the Brand, the program is the practice of that. So, and what I found was since we were supposed to shelter in place and all those rules that they had, I would just work with people that I've already worked with because they're like, I already trust you, everything's fine. Let's keep creating. So I got to work consistently with people and see the transformation from each individual version, but also allowing them to get deeper into the character. So it's like diversifying how you show up for yourself in different ways related specifically to the elements. So I just make it fun because I think, you can go really deep and also be playful and people enjoy it and you just get better results.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I love that so much because it's what you're describing there is this evolution that doesn't just happen from one time, but it's the evolution that continued work that you have with your clients
Yeah.
that help them go deeper
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and really embody who they are, shine that light in who they are. And it also can start to really help them step up into their own leadership in a bigger way. So can you talk a little bit? I know you've shared that you've had clients that really, as they've gone through this process, that the evolution of them as a leader has changed. Can you give us some examples of that?
Yeah. So it's so that I would say like the main part is the practice of it and the trust built. So specifically, if you continue to work with me or any other photographer, just someone that you continue to unfold with and allow for the relationship to go deeper, I think it's exponentially more valuable because you not only are you like allowing yourself to be seen in a different and deeper way, you're also trusting yourself to show up and like let your own guard down.
Yeah.
So specifically, so there's so many stories. So if I pick one, relatively recently, the one of the women that I worked with. So a lot of shit can come up when you're being photographed.
Yeah, that's so true, right?
And oftentimes, and this is why, starting with children, like understanding that like we're all going to throw tantrums and sometimes things are just difficult and you have to keep space for that. So one of the clients that I worked with was trying to show a part of herself that she wasn't actually comfortable allowing anyone to see. And this went like way back to childhood trauma stuff. And I'm not a licensed therapist by any means, but I can hold space and allow for people to show up for themselves in a different way. And I think that's part of the relationship building and the consistency in building the trust, specifically with a photographer that you build a relationship with, but also in letting go into yourself. I think the act of surrender and giving yourself permission are like two things that I value and try to evoke in all of my clients.
Yeah.
So it's just, I have to give permission first. And with this client in particular, she thought that she just wanted a pretty shoot on the beach. And what ended up happening was her essentially fighting with the ocean. So she took all of the rage and all of the trauma and all of the things that she wasn't allowing herself to feel and just threw it into the ocean. And the pictures were amazing.
Oh,
and
wow.
The most important part was that like she had never felt those things before. So the art of photography can be deeply transformational if you allow yourself to go there.
Wow. That's a beautiful story, and I can just envision what the pictures look like.
Yeah.
Having gone through, having somebody go through that and letting that flow through them, that emotion that they weren't normally tapping into, and actually just becoming free with it.
Yeah. And that is the ultimate goal, is freedom.
Yeah.
So, and I think, that's a lot of the things that's my core value. And that's kind of what I want everything to feel like, is I start with play and curiosity. And then the ultimate goal is like, how can you actually allow yourself to be more expansive and more of who you essentially are at your essence?
Very cool. Very cool. I actually, the word freedom really speaks to me, because it's like our bodies can get stuck, especially if we're behind a camera, right? It's like, oh my gosh.
Stop breathing.
And I know, I remember this morning you even said to me a few times, breathe.
And remember to breathe. That's going to be my next t-shirt. Remember to breathe. Yeah.
Right. So it's like we can get things caught in our bodies unless we work with that and we move. I think that's an important piece. And I remember you even saying to me, move your body right now.
Yeah. Now it's time to shake it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So why do so many women don't like being on camera, which you make it really fun. So I'm going to just say that you make it really fun. So I don't feel like that's the experience I had at all, but so many women don't like being on camera. What gets in the way, and what are a few powerful shifts that someone can make to really help them feel at home in front of the lens?
Yeah, great question. I have so many tips. This is probably my YouTube channel. So I would say key number one, remember to breathe. Because I think that's the thing that gets most people hung up the fastest, is getting stuck in your head. So, and just like reminding yourself to like take a deep breath, close your eyes, just like remember that you are a human in a human form, and you have to like do stuff with your hands. So sometimes it can be that simple, where it's just like reminding yourself that it's not that big a deal, really. Whatever the purpose of the pictures, it's really like you get to do another one because it's digital. And if you let go and trust yourself, it always works out better.
That's a really good one. Let go.
Yeah.
And then does that go back to the movement? How do people let go?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I tend to take my dog as the example, because whenever they feel something that's too much, like there's thunder going on right now, and my dog's like, oh my God, things are terrible. But if she just like shakes, then you can actually allow your body to reset and just like come back to home, essentially. So it just like, it's a little reset. And I like dancing. So, that's why I like having music at my photo shoots, and just like creating a vibe so that you can actually stay in your body and stay out of your head. Cause I think that's where people get hung up, is when you think too much, and you're like thinking about, what do I do with these pictures? What do I do with my hands? So if you just like allow yourself to play and not take yourself so seriously, it's always easier.
Yeah. And I love the music piece too, because that music just speaks to my soul. So that's
absolutely.
always the best way to open me up, is to get some music that I love going on.
And it changes the vibe,
Yeah, it definitely does.
You can like match it to what you're wearing, or also the embodiment of like what the projection is. So projection is not the right word, but there's the embodiment. A lot of times I help clients step into their future self. So becoming is a word that I use quite often.
Right.
And the music and the like, how you want to show up for yourself is an identity that you can also move into.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the work that you give to your mind, just so that your body can just dance and be free.
Yeah, that opening and the expansion of taking up space. I think that's an
Yeah,
important part of this, right?
yeah,
It's like the
it's
space that
claiming.
you
Yeah,
take up. Exactly. This is
yeah,
where I'm going. This is that becoming is
yeah,
powerful.
hmm,
Yeah. Let's talk about legacy because I know
yeah.
your work really does tie to legacy.
It does.
What does
Yeah.
that mean to you, and how do you tie it into the work that you do?
Whew, man, how deep do I want to go? So, I think we all have a living legacy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think also that's why I work with leaders, because they get to claim it with more consistency. For
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I don't have children. So there's like this, I am the last bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another part of like why I'm so passionate about helping women specifically to like claim that legacy and like state what it is now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that when they're gone, it's like on living, like it
Yeah.
doesn't end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can, especially with a photograph, like a photo can live forever.
Yeah.
So, and it's how you want to be remembered and the identity that you're claiming now that wants to continue forward.
Yeah. You've got a big project coming out that's based on legacy. So tell us
Yeah.
about this project you've been working on, which I think is going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
tell us a bit about it and just how and where that's leading you. What's next for you with all of that?
Yeah. It's called Embodied Legacy. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been art. I've been hanging on walls. I've been involved in a lot of gallery shows, but I've never like claimed to do it myself. So this year I just decided that I want to have my work hang so that people can come view it and not just see it as in a digital form and scroll by. So the intention is working with influential women,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in the Denver Boulder area,
Mm-hmm.
and capturing their stories and helping them to not only see themselves in a different way, but also to like help them claim who they are and how they want to be remembered. So it's the combination of the photograph and the legacy statement, and it's allowing them to actually write a clear sentence of why they're here and what they want to leave behind.
Yeah, it's going to be so magical, and I've been honored to be a part of that. And it's that again, it was that process that you took us through to get
Yeah,
us to that place, and and just seeing how you guide us when you're photographing us to that place of who we are can
yeah.
be really it's just so it's magical. It's really magical. And so, what's that leading into? What's this gallery show going? So this is going to be later this fall. It's going to be an event in a
It's
fun
a party.
place.
I'm just
It's a
throwing a
party,
party. Yeah.
yeah, with imagery around the room. Where's that leading from there?
Yeah, I suppose that's the next question, and that will continue to unfold. There's probably going to be a magazine. There might be a book,
Uh-huh.
but ultimately, I think this is the bigger work for me, and it's my evolution, because I started my business doing branding, which
Right.
is simple,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm bored. So I think Embodied Legacy is like the next evolution of the work. It's got more depth, it's got more reason, it's got legs that will keep going.
Yeah.
There might even be a project specifically just for men. I've been working with women
Oh,
for
cool.
basically my whole career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there might be something um, specifically for masculine embodied people. So
Yeah. It's what, and you said that you were bored, but I also think that bored syndrome is that
it's
what
evolving.
happens for the
Yeah.
universe is
Yeah.
saying they're tapping you on the shoulder saying
Yeah.
there's more for you
It's like
here. Yeah.
it's the next
And
evolution. Yeah.
it's the calling,
Yeah,
I was talking
absolutely.
about that this morning in the video shoot that we were doing is the
Yeah.
calling that we're all feeling. It's like this next evolution of who we are and we're
Hmm.
stepping into it and it's expansive and there's when we listen to that and we trust it, which I think you're doing so
Trust
beautifully
is
is you're
everything. Yeah.
trusting it, right? You're trusting
Hmm.
that, yes, I built amazing businesses with my photography and there's more to this that's going. And so the legacy work is really starting to evolve for you.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's been really fun watching that this year.
Thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think kind of the through line for me is the storytelling element, and
Mm-hmm.
that's, you know, even starting with the family photography. It was more, I'm really a documentarian, so it's about watching life unfold, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this project specifically is like the pinnacle,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, it's being able to capture the now version of you in the most honest and elevated version.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and allowing women to see themselves in a way that they don't pay attention to or don't give
Yeah.
themselves the space to take.
Yeah. And I love that you're looking at supporting men in this as well, because I feel like that's part of, it's like, women we do this. We go out and we do this inner work, and we
Yeah,
explore and we expand and we grow. I mean, I think it's become very natural for me, is that evolution, because
sure.
I've been
Yeah,
doing it a long time,
yeah,
as just as you have as well. And
yeah.
I think that men don't stop and do that deep work
They
always,
not as often. Yeah,
not as often. Yeah. And so that giving them the space to do that, I think, is powerful. And I think this is that when I talk about this evolution that we're leading into the world, into the
yeah,
future,
yep,
I think bringing men along with us is really important.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think yeah, we all have to rise together. So
Yeah. 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 Okay. So you've built a multi-six-figure business as a creative. What have you learned about leadership, reinvention, and trust along the way? And we've hit on trust a little bit, but what have you learned here?
yeah, I think trust is the foundation. I think
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it starts with self trust, and you can't
Mm-hmm.
really build anything if you don't trust yourself to fail and succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I,
And that's a really good point, right? Because it takes both
it
failures
takes
and
both.
success. And
Yeah,
it's where the failures will, take us through a journey which teaches us something, and we move and we evolve, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, having that foundation of trust specifically within yourself gives you more credibility and ease in learning to trust others, and like actually building with the momentum and the proper leadership.
Yeah.
What else did you say?
About leadership. So tell us, what
Oh,
have you learned about leadership, right?
yeah. So I work with leaders all around the world, and it's fascinating to see how different people claim that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we all have the capacity to be a leader at
Mm-hmm.
something,
Yeah.
and we just have to be able to like own it and step into it, which isn't always easy. I think that's why you and the work that you do is so valuable, is like helping leaders to actually understand their leadership and be able to move into that with more authority.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like a horse and I lead from behind. So I just like
Mm-hmm.
encourage subtly. So it's not like I'm not going to be the one standing on stage being like, you got to do that. I'm not, that's just not my leadership.
But I've seen you on
So
stage. You're amazing. So
thanks.
I'm just going to throw that in there.
I'm a silent revolutionary.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that though. I get the lifting of others, because I have that.
Yeah.
I feel that calling. I love stages too, but I also feel that calling to lift others, and that's what you're referring to here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the stage can also totally be a metaphor for anything else. You know, it's
Yeah.
like how you actually want to claim the space that you're leading from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. And my current version is much more subtly.
Yeah.
So, and also, it's come from who I was as a model, if I can go way back.
Yeah.
I was bold and blunt, and I've learned a softness that was not previously available. And I think that helps hold a bigger space for one.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that amazing that the soft, I
Yeah.
love that softness can give us more space,
Yeah, absolutely.
versus
Yeah.
make us smaller. It can actually make us, our presence, larger.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, it's more comprehensive. There's more available.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think specifically for me, who I used to be was guarded and felt like I had to protect myself. So when I actually learned to trust myself, which ultimately it all comes back to that, I have more capacity to help in bigger ways and serve in a type of leadership that was unavailable in that former self.
So cool.
So, and it's all, the evolution of identity. Like, I don't discount that part of myself because she absolutely helped me get to who I am today.
Right.
And also in my continued self-exploration, and also working with different leaders that have different styles and different skill sets available. I'm always learning. And I think that's the ultimate truth is you have to always be learning, always be learning. Stay curious.
Yeah. Just stay
That's
curious.
my other t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the t-shirt's coming out here.
Yeah.
So you've been part of my mastermind this past year. How has that helped you this past year?
Yeah, it's in so many ways. I think the way that you lead specifically, and like the value in the information, like I've learned a lot. I've also gained a lot just from seeing how you show up for your people. The community is exceptional. Like, I feel like I have new friends now. A lot of the women are also clients. So I've like made my money back just from the women in the group, which is amazing. I just feel, and it's not over yet. So there's still more to come.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think just having the mastery that you have in the business realm has helped me simplify some of the systems that I have and crystallize some of the visions that I have. So, and embodied legacy came from the mastermind. Like it was.
Yeah, I remember when the ideas were when that was all forming. It was like, woo! In fact, I've got goosebumps thinking about that day because it was just when you came up with the idea of that, I was just like, that is brilliant, and it was just I was just so excited for you.
Yeah, so it was born at our lunch. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So where can people learn more about you and your work, and, just how do they stay in touch with you so that, they know all this good stuff that you've got coming out?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get more forthcoming with what's coming out. So my website and the brand is theessencephotographer.com. You can find me with the same handle, The Essence Photographer, on all the socials, and at a gallery coming soon.
Yeah, the gallery's coming, and it's going to be amazing. So that's going to be great. And so if they're following you on social, they're going to see when that's coming. So with all the details behind that. And the final question that I always close with is, what are 3 pearls of wisdom that you'd like to leave with us today?
Oh, man. T-shirt worthy. I always default to that. 3 pearls of wisdom. I would say, trust yourself. Remember to breathe, and always find a leader that can support you in the ways that you will fall.
I like it. Well, thank you, Candace. It's been a joy having this conversation with you. I even learned some new things today, so that was awesome. And it was fun getting to spend most of the day with you too. So
yeah, it's been a fun day.
Yeah, it has been a good day. Well, thanks for joining us today. And reach out to Candace if you're wanting to really tap into your essence of who you are in your photography, and really take your photography to the next level, take your brand to the next level. Candace is your woman. Reach out to her and connect, and she'll get you going into this deep work and help you really step into who you are becoming. Thanks, Candace.
Thank you.